Hello Paul's Care Team and welcome to update 130. Today is the 27th of July 2024. Everything's going fine. There's no bad news going to be in this video. I do want to catch you up though because it has been a while since I spoke to you. So I'll start out by saying that I've done a fair bit of research on the internet now to do with prehabilitation. I found one particular article from, I'll give you the exact place it came from, the American Journal of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation, which talks about a study that they did in prehabilitation for colorectal cancer. Now, bearing in mind, I don't have colorectal cancer, at least that's not my primary, although obviously it does involve major surgery in the abdominal cavity. So considering how rare my cancer is, I felt like that's probably as close as I was going to get. When I looked into that prehabilitation, and I'll pop it up on the screen here, they talk about 4 specific areas of prehabilitation, which is in-hospital high-intensity endurance and strength training, high-protein nutrition and supplements, smoking cessation, and psychological support. So I found that quite interesting because without having read this article, I was pretty much going down those 4 areas. So going through them in turn, the in-hospital high-intensity endurance and strength training. Now, I'm not doing it in hospital. I haven't been offered it in hospital, so I didn't have that opportunity. What I have been doing though is going to a friend's place who has a home gym. And I've been doing a number of exercises, but in terms of high-intensity stuff, I've been doing the rowing machine, which has absolutely been smashing me, both my muscles and my lungs, but I have been doing it. In terms of strength training, I've also been doing pec deck and I've been doing bicep curls. So I have been doing that to some degree. The study does note that if you don't do it, sorry, that door is just Caroline coming home from walking Barkley, but we'll get to that later. The article does mention that when it's done in hospital, it gets a much better result than when it's done at home. I just don't have the opportunity to do it in hospital, so I need to do it at home. Caroline, while you're here, do you want to bring Barkley through? Because I know everyone's going to want to meet him. So,
hello.
So here's Caroline.
Come here.
Yeah.
Hi.
This is Barkley. So Barkley, we're told, is a Labradoodle, although we're not entirely convinced, but Labradoodle is what we're told.
That's what they say.
Yep, and he's a bit of a smoochy pet.
A little bit needy, but beautiful.
Needy but beautiful. There you go. Perhaps a bit like me even. Right, so getting back to what we were talking about, the next thing is high protein nutrition. So I've been eating pre-prepared meals by one of the home food providers in Australia. I have been selecting the high protein options and I've stuck to them. I didn't go down the path that I spoke about earlier of chocolate and ice cream because I decided in the end that I wanted to actually have nutritious food, and in my case, nutritious food means protein. And because I have a stoma, I need to do things like eat a lot of white rice. So these meals from this food provider are specifically high protein, and quite often do come with white rice. If it's not white rice, it'll be pasta, and very occasionally it's potatoes, but most of the time it is white rice. So that's been going really well for me. The third thing on the list is smoking cessation. Now, I never smoked, so I didn't have to cease smoking, so that was good. What I did decide to do in that area though was I was hoping I would actually cease drinking alcohol. You may remember I said earlier that I was going to drink some rum to try and get the calories to put on weight. I split the difference, and I haven't drunk a lot of rum, but I have drunk some rum. So I have to some degree cut back on my alcohol consumption. I haven't cut it out. I think when we get closer to the date of the surgery, then I think in the couple of days, or maybe even in the week leading up to the surgery, I'll probably have no alcohol, which will be good. And for reference, today I'm 10 days away from the surgery, so it's actually very, very close, which is lovely. Now, the fourth thing on the list is psychological support. So, to my relief and surprise, I'm actually psychologically hanging together quite well. I was worried that I was going to be a bit, certainly more of a mess than I am now. I'm not a mess at all, by the way. Because I've cut back on my antidepressant medication. I've been reflecting on that and thinking about why that might be, that in spite of having less antidepressants, I'm actually feeling better. And I found some article, or one particular article, that spoke about, excuse me, a gentleman called Alexander Chalmers, who was a Scottish doctor and later a journalist who was born in the mid-18th century. And he's quoted for the following that I think is really lovely. The quote is, "The three grand essentials of happiness are something to do, someone to love, and something to hope for." I find those words have more than a ring of truth about them. And when I reflect on them, I've thought about how they apply to my life right now. So the something to do part is probably my weakest area right now. I don't have a job. I'm not able to fully engage myself in my hobby of wrecking cars and fixing cars, just because I'm about to go to Sydney and I'm not living in my own house at the moment. Buying a non-functional car is really tricky at the moment. So I haven't had a lot of that something to do. I have fixed up a few things around Caroline's house, but I've now pretty much fixed everything that was broken in this house. That's done now. So yeah, there's something to do. I haven't had a lot. Maybe improving my fitness would be what I've got there. The someone to love, well, clearly in my life at the moment, that would be Caroline. Now, we have a very interesting relationship, which is that we're actually not together, but we do really care for each other really deeply. And when I think about the love in my life and the kindness and the joy I'm surrounded by, it's certainly Caroline. And if it wasn't Caroline, it would be my brother Noel. So I don't feel like I'm wanting in that area. I certainly do feel loved. And let's not forget all of you. You do send me very, very encouraging emails. And I certainly don't feel like I'm alone, at least in cyberspace anyway. Sometimes around the house, when it's only me in the house, I do feel somewhat alone. But when I give it any more than a slight amount of thought, I'm like, no, there's tons of people in the world that care about me. So that feels really soothing and lovely. The third thing on the list was something to hope for. Now, this is an area where, at the moment, since getting that news from Prof Morris, I'm really, really strong in this area right now. So there's something to hope for. The first thing, I'm hoping for a successful stoma reversal. The second thing is being NED, which is no evidence of disease. And I think we now have a possibility where we might actually be able to get me to no evidence of disease. And if you think about where I've come from, which is a PCI of 39 out of 39, stage 4 cancer and raging ascites, the thought of actually being able to get to no evidence of disease is quite astonishing. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get there, but I certainly do feel like it is now a possibility. And I haven't, until that news from Prof, felt like it was a possibility. Now I do think it's possible and I want to go for it. So we're doing that. The next something to hope for is going back to work. So as I said, I have been a bit bored at home. And even before that, I was talking about going back to work. There's the financial aspect of being paid is obviously going to bring stability, medium and long-term stability into my life, which is great. And it's to have something to do, which if you remember, that was the first thing on the list. I would like to have something to do, and in particular, something meaningful to do. I can't really imagine going through everything I've gone through to then go and feel great about doing the next 10 years doing a boring job. I can't imagine that. I think going back to work now, I do need to do something that is genuinely meaningful and feeds my soul, if you like. You know, I would like to do something where I feel like I am making a difference to people or the environment or to animals or to, you know, the treasure trove of world knowledge, or just something where I can go, yeah, that was meaningful. That was worth all the effort of beating cancer to go on and then do those things. You know, I'd like to do that. The next thing on the list of something to hope for is travelling again. With my stoma, and my situation with cancer, I didn't take the prospect of travelling seriously. I didn't think, oh, I can probably go back to the Czech Republic and teach English again, because I felt like I needed to be really close to the Australian health system in case I had a bowel obstruction, for example. And I didn't feel confident that I would be able to be relaxed about travelling with a stoma. It just didn't. And the third thing would be the money. I have become very, very, what's the word, like conservative, or I've been very protective of the money I do have, and being very, very frugal with it. And the thought of going travelling when you're in that situation and the expense associated, it just didn't. I didn't feel like I could do it, in spite of the fact that many of you have actually said, hey, Paul, if you're coming to this part of the world, of course you can come and stay with me. That has been wonderful. And there may be a time in the future where I do come back to that and say, okay, I am now thinking of travelling. If you live in this part of the world, please get in touch. Maybe I will stay with you for a day or two. So we'll come back to that. But certainly at the moment, I'm looking forward to the possibility that I might be able to travel in the future, and that's good. Now, on the things that spark joy list is jacuzzis, which in Australia we call a spa. Now, I haven't had a jacuzzi or a spa since getting my stoma for two reasons. One is because I don't have easy access to one, and secondly because the thought of being in hot, agitated water fills me with fear that my colostomy bag would separate off my belly, and then the water would become contaminated, and that would be awful. So I haven't entertained the thought of doing that. The closest I've come is having a warm bath, because Caroline here has a bathtub, and that has been really nice. But if I think about something that would just genuinely make me joyful at the end of this surgery and recovery, it would be to get in a jacuzzi or a spa and just go, I feel great. You know, this is lovely. And we're all hoping to have happiness in our futures. That I think that's the idea of associating something to hope for with good psychological health, is that you have something good to look forward to. You're predicting that in your future you will be happy because this situation can happen. So there's that. That's where I'm at the moment. In other news, just to talk about a few other things, one of the subscribers is a lovely woman called Bettina. She lives in Germany. Bettina made the offer of translating some of the transcripts of my videos into German, and I've accepted that offer, made Bettina an admin of this channel, and Bettina has so far done a German set of subtitles for update 129, and she's about to do 128. I know myself how long it takes to do the subtitles in English when you're hearing English and you've got an auto-translated version from YouTube to start with. With all of that, it's a pain in the ass. The fact that Bettina is going to be hearing English and typing it out in German means it's harder. And I absolutely thank you, Bettina, for what you're doing. I think it's absolutely lovely. If you remember back to what was kind of motivating me at the start, it was to be able to leave a legacy for the people that come after me, so that there'll be some information on the internet to give people a starting point. And of course, that's better if I have a wider audience. And part of having a wider audience means having it available in more languages. So I do thank Bettina for putting it into German. If there are other people out there that would like to put it into other languages, feel free to get in touch, and I'll need to make you an administrator of the channel and fill your boots. I would say don't translate, or certainly don't feel like you need to translate every video I've ever done. That would just take years for you to do. But on the ones where I've researched quite a bit, like 128, where I talk about all the various ways to slow down your bowel output, I think that was quite an interesting one in terms of the information that was put together in that. So 128 would be one that I'd love to have in a bunch of different languages. There's plenty of others where I'd say take it or leave it, but yeah, 128 would be a good one. In other news, it's good to see that Francine from the channel Francine Has Cancer is doing well. There was a time where both she and I were talking about euthanasia, and now both of us are not. So that's obviously a really, really good outcome for both of us. So congratulations, Francine. I do hope to be saying Happy New Year to you in what is it, in 5 months. I look forward to that happening, and I'm glad that we find ourselves in this place. At the other end of the spectrum, I do want to acknowledge Dr. Dan Says. He had or still has, I guess technically, a cancer channel. Dr. Dan did pass away about a week ago, and that's obviously quite sad. However, what I would say is I think he handled himself with great dignity through the whole process. I think it was something like 3 years for him from diagnosis to passing away. And I felt like he handled himself really well at every stage of that journey. And I do wish him well in the afterlife. And who knows, maybe I will run into him at one stage in that afterlife, and I'll tell him in person that I think he did a great job. So there you go. Right, yeah, so I've got some other footage to show you that I'll tack onto this. I'm going to put on some footage of when Barkley Jones arrived at our house. I don't know how good that footage is. Barkley gets very excited, and when he first came to the house, he was very, very excited, and I was having trouble keeping the camera trained on him. So those shots may be quite fleeting, but I did also get some stills of him as well. So I'll show you those. The other thing I want to show you is some footage of Caroline and I doing some face masks a few days ago. Caroline hasn't featured in many videos recently, but a lot of you do comment on her and ask how she's going and those types of things. So I will include the footage of us having those face masks. It is maybe not super exciting footage, but I know that you do love Caroline, so I will include it. That's probably all I want to say right now. I have on the posts section of my channel put down some of the things that I'm hoping to do in Sydney. One of those is going to the Cronulla Sharks and the South Sydney Rabbitohs game next Saturday. I have already committed that myself, Caroline, my nephew Forrest, and one of the Paul in Perth subscribers called Lauren are going to be going to that. If you do want to just join us, we are just going to be in the general admission section behind the goals. So feel free to go to that game, or or post something on that post or what have you. There are also some other things that Caroline and I are talking about doing in Sydney. So I want to go and see Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie. Caroline does not. A lot of you have said please take us on the tour of the Opera House. we may or may not do that, but certainly it is a possibility we'll do that. There's also a World War II museum, I guess you'd call it, that's out, I forget where it was exactly, I think it was out near Parramatta, that has some World War II memorabilia that is interesting to me, and I may go out and see that. It is a reasonable way away from where we're staying, but there is a pretty good train system in Sydney, so that may well happen. Okay, so I'll sign off here. I'll tag on the other footage on the end of this. So please stay in touch. I am going to be catching the plane to Sydney on Wednesday, and today is Saturday. So 4 days from now, I will be catching that plane. I'm going over on my own, and Caroline will be joining on the weekend, because Caroline obviously has her work here and a few other things. It is the Western Derby tonight, so West Coast Eagles versus my team, the Fremantle Dockers. So for those of you that are AFL nuts, you know what I'll be doing tonight. I will absolutely be watching that game. And whilst I want to point out that the Dockers are way above the Eagles on the ladder, the Dockers do have a nasty habit of losing to the Eagles, and it could happen. It could happen. I don't want it to happen, but it could happen. So so I'll be doing that. So click that care button. I'm doing fine. I hope you are too. If you're one of my care team that doesn't get very able, please do try and get up and walk around, or at least sit up in bed. Please don't do what is probably the easiest thing to do, which is nothing. Please do try and move. Please try and get outside, get some sun, get some wind on your face. Ring a friend that you haven't spoken to for a while, and spread some joy, spread some kindness. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so shirt today is Bowie, because I really miss David Bowie, and I hope that you think about some of the people in your life that you miss as well. And if they're passed away, give them some thoughts. If they're not passed away, like I said, get on the phone and ring them. So share some love. Okay, talk to you later. Here's some footage. See ya.
Hey, Barkley. Hello, Barkley.
Who's here? Turn your guard. Wait a minute, you're going to have a little see you, Mum. Wait a minute. You're still on the lead. Come here. Silly boy. Yes, you can go in. Hang on. I've got to read the Royal Proclamation.
Arrival. His Royal Highness Barkley Jones has arrived. And his assistant Jane.
He disappeared.
Very expensive Coles brand vitamin C face sheet mask with pineapple extract. Too tall for this camera. Let me undo it like so.
Take my glasses off.
Yes, you do indeed.
Do you want to see?
I think that would be too short. Okay, here we go. Fancy. Tilt your head back a little bit. Not your whole body, just your head. Okay.
It's called.
Smush it. Smush is the technical word that will experienced beauty therapists use.
Okay.
You don't just learn how to smush overnight, it's quite a skill set. Trained for years to learn how to smush.
You smush so good.
Oh, it's not fitting over your nose, hold on.
Not the first time.
That big schnoz. Here we go. It was just tucked up underneath the little table. Tilt. Can you not tilt your head back further than that?
I've got ankylosing spondylitis in my neck, remember?
Have you?
Yeah, I told you, two of my vertebrae are fused.
Never talked about your ankle.
You do know that.
Okay. So unlike the old-fashioned ones where you put mud on your face and you couldn't smile because you'd crack it, this one you can do whatever you like. You can open your eyes, you can smile, crack a joke. Now mine is a collagen infusion. Jury's out on whether these work or not, but they make you feel nice. Little fun fact that I learned a couple of years ago. People think of collagen as being really good for your skin, but the other thing it's really good for is your gut lining. Did you know that? And when I had some troubles with my tummy, I was taking collagen orally. And it's very good for your gut lining. Ooh. Am I lined up roughly with my eye holes?
Yeah.
Because I can't actually see much without my glasses on. Can you have a go at smushing? You've got a hair. Oh, hair. What's so funny? What's so funny?
You're funny.
Your mouth is disappearing. There we go.
Yeah.
Smush away. Where are these hairs coming from?
I don't know.
It's like you've been sleeping with a dog in your bed or something.
Not yet, but soon. not in my bed.
Is that big? Tucked up or
Yeah,
something?
it is. There you go.
Is this my good side?
Yeah. Oh, hang on.
2 hands, come on.
Yeah.
2 hands, 2 thumbs.
All right. Oh, there we go.
Oh, felt that.
Yeah, I had to get your mouth in the right place. Shh. You'll start people talking.
Okay.
All right, not bad for a guy.
Yeah.
There you go.
You should take up smushing. Quite good at it. Yeah, that's coming out of the kettle, so be careful.
So it's just to wash our hands, isn't it?
Well, it's to wash it off afterwards.
Oh, okay. All right.
But maybe just use the flannel. Here's a question. I call this a flannel because that's what my mum called it. It's the thing you wash your face with. Other people call it a face washer.
Face washer.
Which is much more sensible. Flannel, I guess, is the material, the fabric it's made from. I'd like to know what it's called in other countries.
What do you call this in your country? Is it a flannel? Is it a face washer? Is it a towelette?
Towelette.
I don't know.
There's a funny episode of The Simpsons, I think, where Homer goes to Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think, and he doesn't get a moist towelette, and he creates this huge scene about wanting his moist towelette, and so every time you hear the word towelette, all I can think of is
Homer
Simpson and his moist towelette. Crazy shop rage. That's it. That's my story.
Okay.
Now, sit and relax.
5 minutes.
Perhaps we could fast forward that.
Yeah. Oh, I'm finally going to use the fast forward feature. I've been meaning to use that.
You're puffing out at the sides.
Okay.
Fluffing.
So here's the fast forward feature.
The hole's not big enough for your mouth.
And that was the last time I put Denka rub there. I'm tasting tea
Yeah,
with...
because you feel straightener through your face mask.
Well, I didn't...
Hang on, let me get some scissors and cut you a bigger hole.
Oh, hang on. I can just move it up.
No, it's at the sides.
Is it?
Chin up.
You've got like a coffee stain around your mouth now.
It seems somewhat appropriate. Coffee stain around the mouth and probably a few Doritos.
Oh, I like that shirt.
Mm.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Wait, no, I didn't punctuate that right. Oh, wait. I said, wait, what? It's meant to be, what?
No.
Wait,
What?
The inflection is so important.
Just quickly while I've got you, I wanted to say thank you to all of you who've written to me and said that my idea to shave my forearms and chest before the surgery is a really bad idea. A lot of you were registered nurses or otherwise in the medical profession, and you pointed out that shaving is a great way to get little nicks and cuts and bacterial infections. And one person even wrote to me and said that with their knee reconstruction, they were given specific instructions that if they did shave their knee, they would be denied the surgery. So I'm not going to shave my arms and chest as a result of your advice. I may use a clipper and do it with the clippers because that's above the skin and doesn't won't nick it and also won't be risking ingrown hairs. And I will do it several days before I go into hospital so that any tiny nicks have time to heal. And of course, when they do put the cannulas on, they always use a sterilising strip to clean the skin. So I think that'll be fine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. My skin feels wonderful and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks very much. See ya. Bye. Click the like. Sexy people click like. See ya.